Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan Sensei channel. Um, if you've seen any of my two previous videos, I either do it in Japanese or I do it in Portuguese. So um, I've done that for a reason, and it's because I really have been afraid up to now to express myself in English. For the record, I am American and my native language is English. I taught 9 years in Japan. As you can tell, this is going to be unscripted, so I'm going to include warts and all because it's one of my first videos, first couple of videos. So just going to get the screw ups out of the way early on when most people aren't watching. For those of you who want to use this as English practice, English listening practice, this is a good opportunity. In the future, I would like to upload videos that also have translation and get that over time as the budget allows. But this is going to be about my third full-length video that I do. So I am, of course, just operating on, we'll just say, a shoestring budget right now. So for those who are second language learner, you can ask in the comments what a shoestring budget is if you don't know what that is. So I plan to talk about things that are related to languages since it is a big passion of mine. Living in Japan for 9 years, I did pass level 1 of the Japanese language proficiency exam, and I found the most helpful thing to be just exposure to the language. I'm not going to ever call myself a polyglot. Uh, except for Japanese, I've struggled with every other language that I've studied. And from what I've seen from other YouTubers, I think it's because I've lacked that sense of urgency or that sense of necessity that, I need I really needed to get through daily life. Now, I could have probably gotten by with just English, but I lived in the countryside in Osaka back 30 years ago. So, yes, I could have hung out with just English speaking people, whether they be other English teachers or Japanese who had a decent level of English. But that would have been very boring. And as it was with my first ex-wife, that'll come out in future videos too about, my entire history. Um, that that communication would have been probably well nigh impossible, and there would have been lots of misunderstandings, and that would have put a very big strain on my first ex-wife. So, I had some great teachers. Uh, Osaka people were fun at the time, so it was great to hang out with them, sing karaoke, uh, get a little drunk every now and then too. I'm not a big drinker, but I did drink socially back in the day, and it was fun. Um, so let's see some of the other stuff that might be of interest to people who are interested in Japan from 30 years ago and want to belt their songs out, by Miki Matsubara. Interesting story about her. Well, maybe not about her, but I actually taught in the city that she was born in. And then my first wedding was in the city that she grew up in. So she has a special place in my heart. And, being someone from Osaka, most likely speaking the Osaka dialect growing up, uh, it, I get emotional when I listen to her, whenever I listen to her sing. Um, yeah, she did pass way too early, and some of the regrets that you have from the past is like 20 years ago, since really city pop was not very popular. Um, I wish I hadn't paid more attention to those singers that had come before J-pop. What's the right word? Now, I don't want to say evolved, but it changed in the 90s. And I do think that the city pop that came before it was way better in quality, just way better in melody, and musical notation and whatnot compared to what came in the 90s. I can see why my second ex-wife, also from Japan, I can see why she did not like J-pop from the 90s. But if I give her some uh, like city pop music from the 80s, she says, yes, I know that. And, so she at least likes that song, those kind of songs. Um, it's too bad. I can't get permission to play some of their music on here because then I could probably get a YouTube strike, copyright strike, or I'm not going to get monetized at this point. It's too early in the game. Um, so you can kind of deduce from the first 5 minutes in that I've been talking about Japan quite a bit, even though I did release one video in Portuguese. I started studying that about 9 months ago now. So at that time, I I've always felt a little, what's the right word, insecure that I have not known another European language very well besides English. But I didn't want to go down the traditional route, and so I looked at a language that might be useful in the future, and settled. I don't no, it's not settled. That's not a good word. I chose to study Brazilian Portuguese, and so I've been at it for 9 months, and it's a weird situation. My motivation is kind of flailing, but whenever I listen to it, um, I'm motivated in that moment to do it. So it's not like I'm bored with it. I think I'm just running out of material that I like. I'm also studying Vietnamese right now, and I think Vietnamese gets me through. I can get through with that. Been doing that for a couple months as well. Is that they have dubs of anime, and again, related to Japan, and then Chinese dramas that I used to watch with English subtitles back in the day too. If Portuguese can somehow, there's some subject within Portuguese that I can really, or Brazil, that I can really wrap uh, my hands around. Maybe that's not the right word, but I think that I can grasp onto. Then I feel that then I think that motivation will come back and it'll be pretty strong. Um, Also, you can probably see where, yeah, where I live, it's in the dead of winter right now, here in Michigan, USA, wherever you are in the world. Which means we're getting a fair bit of snow, and it is pretty cold. So I think like a lot of people going through the January blues a little bit, even though it is my birthday month. I should be happy, but I I have an interesting story about that. I remember I was helping a woman edit a book, like I want to say pre-pandemic, so about 5 years. Well, no, 6 years ago now. And she had said, "Well, I think her birthday was also in the winter." She says, I just don't feel in the spirit right now for my birth to celebrate my birthday in the winter, so I want to celebrate it in a warmer month." And I think, yeah, that's what I would like to do too. Celebrate it, say with springtime or whatnot. That's why I don't make New Year's resolutions anymore, because I know it's going to peter out. So instead, I borrow the way that the Japanese look at new beginnings, which is to start in April. That's the start when, people start their first jobs or whatnot, or when they start school, or if there are any transfers between locations um, within a company or in government or whatnot, that they happen in April. So, that's I've decided to do my New Year's resolutions on April 1st and go from there instead. So I figure I can get more done in 8 months than just kind of putting out a very half-hearted effort. Surpri- I'm surprised I haven't used any curse words yet. So YouTube doesn't strike me for that too. Are you listening, YouTube? Hopefully you won't strike me for mentioning that. You might strike me. Um, Big shout out to doing it with Briggs. He is the one who encouraged me to just put out a video and then work it out from there. So you are going to see it's going to be very raw. I plan to put out. I promise. I know promises can be broken. Talk is cheap. I plan to at least put out, we'll say, 1 10-minute video a week on YouTube. If I get out more, then great. And then definitely over time, hopefully I'll be like some of those YouTubers where you'll see that microphone and you'll say, darn, that is a fantastic microphone. It looks so old-fashioned, but it works just as it would in the 21st century. So I'm going to be very interested to see what you have to say in the comments and what you will be talking about and what is of interest to you on your language journey. I don't want to do it just in English all the time because you should hear me in my mess ups, we'll just say, if I'm speaking Japanese or whatnot, or if I'm speaking another language, because I don't want to be like some of those polyglots on YouTube. I mean, there are some genuine ones, don't get me wrong, but some of the ones that other YouTube videos have called out, I don't want you to get that with me. I want you to come away saying, I may not like Chris at times. Yeah, he may look like a dork or whatnot, but he is authentic. He is genuine. If I came across him in daily life, he is someone who I could get a very good read on. This is real. This is real. You can tell right here. So I'm not going to hide that. Yep, this is real too. The way I look at it, I'm still alive. And the older you get, you start being thankful for the little things like that. And the other stuff is just like, I'll just roll with the punches. I'll just surf this wave and see where it takes me. So that's the way I approach life. So I'm hoping that with the people that I interact with, that at least if we're respectful with each other, that it's okay to disagree. It's okay to be upset about something. There's nothing wrong with that. I do believe in freedom of speech. But if it does cross the line where it becomes, I don't want to say hurt feelings. I think people can get hurt feelings no matter what, but where it's threatening towards others, then that's definitely a line I'm going to enforce. And if I don't enforce it, I know definitely YouTube will definitely enforce it. So I'm hoping that there will be vigorous debate. I hope that there will be a vigorous sharing of ideas. So I subscribe to channels that I don't necessarily agree with, or I'll even like the videos just because the person put out the effort. And it's always good for me to get a different perspective, because then I get an insight into that person's way of thinking. I'm definitely somebody who observes other people's behavior and then decide how I'm going to act after that, based on the situation and based on what I feel will be best for me at that time. So bring your ideas, because I feel that your life experience is valid. There may be something that I may put out or that I may say that I don't have the full information on. But by your pointing that flaw in my thinking or in my line of argument, then I can, tighten that up or change my mind entirely. Because at the end of the day, none of us are going to get out of this thing called life. We're not going to get out. Try to find words so that we are going to to borrow Jim Morrison, we are going to break on through to the other side. Yes, YouTube. The Doors said that. It's their copyrighted great song, "Break On Through to the Other Side" by the Doors. Jim Morrison did a great job with that. So I'm giving credit where credit is due. So if there are any Doors fans watching or any former members of the Doors, I thought I did see a YouTube user with the name Ray Manzarek Rocks. So maybe Ray Manzarek out there is watching YouTube videos as well and then commenting on them. So, well, I think I've uh, rambled on enough. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you for putting up with me, and I look forward to releasing more videos and hearing what you have to say from now on. Take care. Uh, have a great day or evening. Uh, Stay safe out of if you are coming across inclement weather. Bye.